During the date, Akane was broken up by her boyfriend because he liked another girl. She sadly returned to tell her best friend. At first, that boyfriend asked Akane to play a new online game because he was a gamer. But unexpectedly, just because she loved another person in the game, she was broken up. Momo's best friend gave Akane a few words of encouragement and then went home to prepare for school. Akane opened the game to fight monsters. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a curly-haired guy kept staring. After checking his status, he discovered that this person was Yamada from the same guild, and Akane greeted him enthusiastically. This guy seems to be the type to be very aloof and unapproachable, but when it comes to games, Yamada replies very quickly and long. Seems to be a guy addicted to games. Akane confided that she had been dumped by her lover and was very distressed. 2 minutes passed, he completely ignored the lament just now and just wanted to ask her to give this yokai feel to him. Akane gets very angry and curses Yamada, then leaves. Soon after, the game's new event was announced, which is the 1-year anniversary. Attendees will have many gifts. Convinced by this event, Akane thinks her ex will join her new lover. The next day, when I went to school, I asked Momo to help me choose clothes and shoes. I had to be so gorgeous to make my ex regret. Finally, the day has come. The atmosphere is extremely bustling and crowded because this game has a large number of players. At that time, Akane recognized her ex-boyfriend with a very dashing appearance, dating a new lover. Akane gave chase and almost called out his name, but accidentally bumped into someone and fell to the ground. At that moment, the other guy picked up the shoe and asked if you were okay. She said thank you to him, but in response he only said one word and left. Akane felt something familiar and the image of a curly-haired character appeared in her mind. She immediately called to try the curly-haired Yamada, but as expected, he turned his face. She was about to apologize for getting the wrong person when, at that moment, her ex-boyfriend suddenly exclaimed from behind. Akane thought he was surprised by her, but not the young man surprised by Yamada. Turns out this ex-lover Akane has been a fan of Yamada for a long time. He watches all of Yamada's videos. Akane saw this and pretended to introduce this as my new boyfriend, but Yamada flatly refused. She silently begs him to pretend to be her boyfriend. In exchange, she will give her PIN code to receive the Oracle Stone. It was a super rare item in the game, so Yamada agreed. Ex-boyfriend is shocked because he has followed him for the past 3 years. Every video has comments but can't be contacted. Akane forced Yamada into the restaurant to talk, even though he just wanted to go home. Akane had to tell a series of stories before he remembered. It turned out to be the girl from the other day in the game. Today, Akane had to make herself beautiful, just because she wanted her ex-boyfriend to feel guilty, but tears kept falling. In response to those sad confessions, Yamada just wanted to order another Coke. By the way, this is a professional gamer who makes money from sponsors through gaming. Mainly play FPS games, but this game has changed a bit. But Akane doesn't know what the heck FFS is. The more she thought about her ex, the sadder she became and had to go to the bathroom. In it, she noticed her clothes were dirty and her feet were also scratched after an afternoon of falling. When he returned to the table, he realized that Yamada had disappeared. In the end, only one remained. Suddenly Yamada called from behind and seemed surprised by Akane's expression right now. Yamada told her to sit down because he had just come back from buying bandages and gently applied it to the scratch on his leg. That gentleness touched Akane deeply. The next morning, Akane woke up with a headache because I was drunk yesterday. Akane slowly opened her eyes and saw Yamada playing a game. Akane was still sitting dumbfounded, not understanding what was happening when he approached her, causing her to fall to the ground in fear. It can't be a one-night stand. Because Akane was drunk, Yamada had to carry him home. She even vomited her shirt, so he took off her clothes to wash her, and also paid for the food. Akane now feels guilty, pays him and immediately returns home. I suddenly realized that I couldn't find the necklace anywhere. I looked all over the house and couldn't find it. Probably left it at Yamada's house. So she entered the game to find Yamada, but he wasn't online. Her tears welled up because it was the first gift her ex-lover gave her. This girl is Rory. She sees that Akane is sad. So listen to what she has to say. Suddenly, as soon as Yamada logged into the game, Akane asked about his necklace, but unfortunately he didn't see it. Ruri invites Yamada to come and comfort her, but he quickly declines because he is hunting monsters. Then they see a treasure chest. Akane says the useless items are hers. Ruri encourages her without reproach, but Yamada says the stuff is useless, which angers Akane and logs out of the game. Then, he got up to go out, accidentally stepping on something picked up to know it was her broken necklace. At a romantic beach, her ex-boyfriend apologized and gave Akane a present, but when she opened it, it was her new lover. Turns out it was just a dream. She immediately went to tell Momo. Momo also wondered why should she care about the necklace that her ex-lover gave her. Akane always put her boyfriend first, even playing games with him, although not interested, but then got up and left sadly. Along the way, Akane stumbles upon a boy who was being confessed to by two high school girls. I remember when I was in high school, I also confessed to my senior, but unfortunately he already has a girlfriend. Startled at the cold voice, Akane realized it was Yamada. Long time no see, Yamada seems to have forgotten who she is. Akane said she slept at his house. Now I know that Yamada is still a 12th grade high school student. Actually, he always wanted to meet Akane to return the necklace he accidentally broke because Akane didn't play the game recently. She didn't say anything. Then smiled and ran straight out into the rain. However, Yamada still chased her and gave her an umbrella, while I ran home in the rain. The next day, she was lying sadly with the necklace in her hand when suddenly the delivery man arrived. It turned out that her mother sent a bunch of things from the countryside to make a mess, filling the room. She immediately asked Momo to come help her. They pulled out a bunch of stuff that needed to be thrown away. The new umbrella will probably be kept and a broken necklace. Recall Yamada's advice in the game to choose carefully because the inventory is also limited. She decided to throw them both away and a bunch of Akane's stuff was now sent to the landfill. She only regretted the teddy bear, so she kept it. In the middle of the night while Yamada was sleeping, suddenly someone rang the bell. Unexpectedly, it was the other girl who had just gone to drink alcohol to return the umbrella. Momo thinks he's handsome, so he asks people to date and then get married. Also, another reason why Akane came here is to thank him because that day, without Yamada, would have been a nightmare day when she was alone. He also seems to be a little less angry at being interrupted. Suddenly, the image of Akane with tears appeared in Yamada's mind. That day, he came back and said that Bucho was worried about her because he hadn't logged into the game for a long time. Hearing that, Akane immediately beamed, promising to play the game when she returned home. Even though Yamada was very sleepy, he was still forced into the game to play with her. Akane fights a monster that cuts humans in half, which splits again and has to ask for help. But no matter how much she cried and begged, Yamada stood there. He's already asleep. Momo invites Akane to a group date and seems to have a friend who also likes Akane. Knowing that she loves games these days, he also wants the two of them to play together. The guy kept trying to flirt all day, but Akane only texted Yuri. While leaving, Akane suddenly passed by a little girl in a bunny costume. When I got home, I logged into the game and found Yuri and Yamada sitting outside the door. When the new guild was formed, it was always only 2 people, but now there are more members. But sometimes it's okay if it's just us. Hearing this, Akane believes that they are dating. At that moment, Yuri and Yamada recognized her. Yamada quit the game because of some work. Now that I think about it, Yamada rarely hangs out with anyone but talks a lot with Yuri. Maybe the two of them are a couple. Akane had to log out of the game and somehow felt a bit down. The next day she went to college and she couldn't concentrate. After school, Akane met the person yesterday at an appointment. He came to talk. Since he was sitting right behind Akane in class, he saw her constantly calling during class. Later that day, he did some research on the game Akane was playing and seemed to think boys play games. Akane asked him if he knew Yamada, but the young man didn't know anything. On the way back, he just talked about his plan to go out with his friends on summer vacation and asked Akane to come along. But her eyes were drawn to something else. It was the girl in the same outfit who ran towards Yamada the day before, even holding hands for a walk. Although it was true that such a handsome man had a girlfriend, for some reason Akane's heart still felt uneasy. When I got home, Yuri texted me asking me to go to an offline meeting. She wasn't in the mood for the game at all, but seeing her begging, she agreed. Come to think of it, the girl we met today looks a lot like Yuri, but she's also close to Yamada. The next morning was an offline session between the members. Akane followed the directions to the rendezvous point, but for a while still could not understand where this sign is. Accidentally hit by a boy and dropped his phone, he apologized and picked it up to let him know that the two of them were in the same place because they also played this game. He was glad that this game had a very high percentage of female players, but now he met her again. Akane trembled with fear. Maybe this young man lured me somewhere, but more and more, this guy is really a genuine gamer. Along the way, he always talked about the game. Right after that, he was called by the same girl from yesterday. Therefore, Kane's judgment was completely correct. That girl was Yuri, but as soon as she saw Yamada, Akane happily ran over to talk to him, but for some reason, the girl approached and hugged his arm, showing annoyance. Akane enthusiastically started a conversation. But why does her way seem so different in the game? She even asked Ada who this is. Ada looked around and guessed that the girl was Akane, much to her surprise. On the night Yamada brought Akane home, he opened the game to play and confided to his friends that there was actually a strange girl sleeping in his room. One young man even asked to take a picture of her for him to see, but Yamada refused. Seeing Akane seem awake and annoyed, he approached to ask if Akane was okay. But suddenly she hugged me and told me I don't love you anymore. Her mouth chased him away, but her hand still held Yamada tightly and cried non-stop. Yamada didn't dare let go for fear of hurting her more, so he let Akane lean on him. After a while, when she was fast asleep, Yamada gently laid her down and covered her with a blanket before going out to play games again. Just in time for Akane to vomit. Everyone is in the restaurant. Akane already knows the characters of Yuri and Yamada but doesn't know who the other two are. Actually, Ada is the cute Yuri and also Yamada's friend. Ada excitedly told her reason, but Akane was completely disappointed. She trusted him and confided in him many embarrassing things. He assumed that she did not confide in Ada but Yuri, knowing Ada is Yuri. She was also reassured because every day in the game, only the two of them talked to each other. Runa got angry seeing Akane's expression. "Don't tell me you like him." Akane said no. Ada quickly silenced her outspoken sister and told her not to mind because she was in the rebellious phase. While ordering food, Akane looked over at Yamada and saw that he had been looking at her ever since. He looked so handsome that he spilled a glass of water. Yamada touches her hand to prevent danger. She felt very shy, so she quickly dodged to the side. Yamada noticed that she was very shy, so he asked to come out and call. Ada asked Akane's permission to let me pick some flowers. And Runa kept glaring at her. Ada goes to Yamada's place. I thought Yamada never lied. He thought what Runa said annoyed Akane. Ada said that it was because of Akane's shyness. Ada admits that Akane is very beautiful. I thought Akane was just as childish in real life as in the game, but Yamada felt they were identical. He didn't see any difference between those two faces. Talking about the part where Yamada is indifferent towards girls. He recalled, before, there was a girl who cried for him. When they left, Runa felt jealous that Akane kept following her brother and Yamada. Before there were only 4 players, somehow added that person. She will definitely make Akane leave the group. When Yamada and Akane took the train home, the girl's eyes were all focused on Yamada. The ship shook and Akane tripped over Yamada. He offered to switch places with her. After that, the two of them went to the market to cook dinner together. Yamada only buys yogurt. He doesn't eat dinner. Akane asked Yamada if he was free to wait 10 minutes. Before he could answer, Akane ran away. Akane was very sad before, but now she is much better. Akane went home to prepare food to bring to Yamada. Knowing he didn't cook, she brought all the prepared food for him. Yamada refused because he knew Akane was also short of money. Just then, Akane received a call from Runa. She said she wanted to be friends with Akane and asked to go out next Saturday. When he returned to his room, Yamada remembered that Akane said he was going out on Saturday, but when he opened the calendar, that day was the day he became Runa's tutor. At the rendezvous that Runa called, Akane met a stranger. Receiving a message from Runa, she said that she wouldn't be able to come for tea, so she bothered Akane to talk to her friends. Akane was helpless with the opposite person, so he went to the bathroom to hide. Yamada goes to Runa's house to teach. Her mother likes Yamada very much. Yamada came to inquire that Runa had an appointment today and was still here. Akane called Runa, who quickly hung up. Akane didn't want to be bothered by this stranger, so he followed her to the bathroom. Akane knew this was a stalker. When asked by Yamada, Runa explained the situation. Because there was a fan of Ada's character, she used her brother's account to invite him to the tea house. Yamada felt that this was not good, so he asked Runa for a rendezvous point. After learning about the incident, Ada did not expect her sister to take her game account to text the other guy. Thanks to Uncle Komoda, they got there faster. Ada admonished her stubborn younger brother. If you meet Akane early, apologize to her, but she stubbornly says no. The group that came to see Akane was not feeling well. Yamada didn't have time to run, but he was speeded up by Uncle Komoda to protect Akane. He told this guy that he knew a lawyer who would not succumb to violence or threats. Ada asks Akane if she is okay. She didn't expect the whole guild to come here. Yamada saw the bandaged leg and asked her. This guy apologizes because he entered the girl's restroom and scared Akane. In fact, he was afraid Akane would pass out, so he put painkillers under the bathroom door. Frightened, her feet hit the toilet. Ada forbids young men from breaking into women's restrooms like that again. Akane now sees Runa. The girl ran away. Akane also followed her inertia and bumped into the chair, causing her to scream. Runa saw that and turned to ask and apologize. They then left, leaving only Akane and Runa. Akane starts talking to her, asking about her in the game because Akane's level is too low to hunt with the rest of the guild. Runa doesn't care if Akane is low level or not. Akane says next time we will hunt monsters together. Runa couldn't understand why Akane could still talk to her normally. I tricked her into going on a date. Even though she sees Runa doing something wrong, she knows that Runa still cares about her. Akane feels lucky to be in this guild. Since this guild is very important to Runa, she came today to ask Runa to let her join. Uncle Komoda doesn't know puberty, girls are complicated. Yamada was surprised when he returned. The atmosphere of the two sisters was completely different. Akane has completely befriended Runa.